Hey everyone, thinking about starting a business in Japan, but not sure where to begin? In this video, I'll walk you through three small business ideas that foreigners like you can start in Japan. These ideas are realistic, achievable, and have the potential to thrive in this market. Now, you might be wondering why I'm sharing this advice. My name is Tyson Batino, and I've been living in Japan for over 20 years now. During that time, I've started three companies that currently employ more than 250 people, and I'm currently helping more than 35 entrepreneurs scale their business in Japan. So if you're ready to explore your options and take the first step towards starting your own business in Japan, let's get started. The first business that we'll talk about is English teaching. So starting small is easy. You don't need a big office or a ton of resources to get going. You can teach lessons at home, in a cafe, or at a community center. Finding students is also pretty straightforward. You can sign up with an online agency, hand out flyers, ask your friends, ask them to ask their friends, advertise online. There are many different options to get students. And after you get a bunch of students, you can transition to your own dedicated space. And who knows, maybe even grow to multiple locations. But let's be honest, the English teaching market in Japan also has its challenges. The children market, for example, is still strong, but is increasingly competitive. Cram schools, because population is decreasing, is losing their customer base. And as a result, they've had to expand into the English market as so sometimes you'll see them offering English conversation lessons and sometimes for free. However, parents are also warming up to online lessons as a cost-effective solution to getting their children an English education. It hasn't been adopted by the masses yet, but it's gradually gaining steam. One of the keys to successes is really knowing your audience and what type of students your teaching style and personality suits. So if you're targeting adults, one-on-one teaching can work really well if you're starting out. And the reason for that is you can build personal relationships with your students, mean they're less likely to quit. However, scaling this into a business where you teach others to teach for you can be tricky. Why? Because students are often loyal to their teacher, not to the school. So losing a great teacher could mean losing a lot of students. This also applies to teaching children, but more so for adults. Business English is another option, but break into this market takes time and connections. Many people start by working for a company as a teacher and then use that experience, that logo, to secure new corporate clients directly yourself. Also, intensive programs like unlimited lessons over a few months, like Sparta Ekaiwa and Torais, which runs more of a yearly format, has also been successful in the business English space. Also, this market is getting increasingly challenging because of new online offerings and AI powered solutions. One example of that is Cody, which one of the guests on my podcast, the Scaling Japan podcast, Arner Jensen, talked about. So let's say you started and you want to grow. You'll need more than just teaching skills. Here are some tips to help you stand out. So one is you need to find your unique selling point, which you addressed earlier. And for example, do you specialize in the TOEIC test or IELTS test or ACAN? Could you serve a niche target like Japanese digital nomads who would like to live overseas? Whatever it is, it's good to find your niche and double down on it. Two, word of mouth is crucial for the English language business. In my experience advising over 10 schools, probably 30% of your student base, in some cases 50% of your student base, will often come from word of mouth. So how you get students to bring their friends is crucial. Also, the third part is building a strong online presence. And a lot of parents, probably the next 30%, sometimes even 40% of parents, find your school through Google search and Google Maps. And so being found on those channels and having a nice website that can really communicate what your company is strong at can go a long way. And in our case, we've helped design websites for more than 8 English language schools in Japan. And seeing the results they've gotten by having a good design, ranking on SEO and Google Maps can make all the difference in the world. and can even make up 30 to 40% of your new student base. And that's something my company, Scaling Your Company, can help you with. And we'll have a link to our marketing agency in the show notes. Some additional resources to help you succeed. So we'll link to them in the description, where one is a podcast episode of myself talking about how I helped co-found and scaled an English language school chain to 10 schools. We'll also link to Arner Jensen's journey to building Kori, an AI platform for English learning for the business space. And last, we'll also feature an interview of myself on another podcast, the Language Leaders podcast on the Japanese market. So these four resources will give you a very good insight into the English language space in Japan. And if you've already started a school and have more than 50 students, I might be able to help you. Business idea number 2 for Japan: tour guide business. So Japan is one of the most popular travel destinations in the world, and visitors are seeking more than just sightseeing. They want an immersive, authentic experience. That's where you come in as a tour guide. You have the opportunity to help travelers connect with Japan's culture, food, and people in a way they could never have achieved on their own. One inspiring example of this is Elizabeth and Kyle from Arigato Travel, who I had the pleasure of interviewing for my Japan Scalers series, where I interview entrepreneurs who have created businesses with revenues over 100 million yen. She shared with us how she built her business around creating flexible, personalized tours that caters to the unique needs of her clients. This kind of attention to detail isn't just about offering a service, it's about creating a transformative experience that guests will treasure and remember for a lifetime. When you focus on making each tour special, you're not just another option competing with the big bus tours and guidebooks. You're building lasting memories and customer loyalty. And stick around, and I'll share some other key insights from my interview with Elizabeth and Kyle. And you never know, you may actually be working as a tour guide in the future for Japan travel. And we'll link to them in the show notes. So, the first step in creating a successful tour guide business is to define your niche. Maybe you're into food tours, historical walks, or outdoor adventures. Whatever it is, focus on what you're passionate about and know best. For example, food tours have been a growing trend, and they tap into travelers' natural curiosity about local cuisine. But for some of your niche might be introducing hidden trails, traditional crafts, or even unique shopping experiences into local neighborhoods. Find the gap in the market and make it yours. Step number 2, start small and validate your concept. When you're just starting out, it's tempting to try to do everything, but don't. Start with one type of tour, run it yourself, and get direct feedback from customers. Then improve, repeat this step again, and this will really help you to tap into what your audience wants and how to adjust your service around that. Or one challenge that our guest saw was that she saw many people trying to scale too fast, too quickly without really solidifying their ideas. And so rather than that, spend the time to create a really good experience. And once you have something solid and proven, think about how you can expand to new locations or types of tours. And I think this is excellent advice. I've been personally consulting, advising one travel agency for 2 years, and I've helped them grow from 2 to 8 employees. And now they have a very good understanding of the industry. And I think it's only up from there. Moving on to step 3. Step 3 would be building relationships. So your success often will depend on partnerships, restaurants, craft shops, historical sites, even hotels, and short term rental managers. These are the places that will make your tour more unique. Building trust with these local businesses will be tough, especially as a foreign entrepreneur, but it's worth the effort. And so, one quick strategy to use is to approach overseas travel agencies. They're often looking for local tour operators to partner with, and it's often easier to strike a deal with them than trying to work with Japan's more traditional business network. So, this is only a taste, a sample of some of the amazing insights from Elizabeth and Kyle from Arigato Travel. She shares really incredible advice on how she went from a solo tour business to managing a team of over 500 guides, and is filled with lessons that you can apply to your own business. We'll add a link in the show notes to the podcast episode with her. And if you need advisory on how to scale your tourism business, feel free to reach out. And if you're looking for a tour guide position, maybe Arigato Travel can help you. Business idea 3 for the Japan market: rentals. So, short term stays are an increasingly popular option for tourists looking for something different from traditional hotels. Whether you're in a high traffic area like Tokyo, Kyoto, or Osaka, or exploring up and coming spots like Kanazawa, Karuizawa, Hokkaido, or Okinawa, the short term rental market has a lot of potential. Starting small is key. List a single property on platforms like Airbnb, Booking.com, or Rakuten Stay to test the waters and understand demand in your chosen area. If you're considering a Minpaku or Airbnb rental in Japan, here's what you need to know. The 2018 Minpaku law made short term rentals legal, but introduced strict regulations to ensure safety and community harmony. You'll need to register with your local government, obtain a license, and meet safety requirements, like installing fire extinguishers and displaying emergency exit signs. Keep in mind that most areas limit rentals to 180 days a year, and some locations even have stricter rules. Compliance is key, so consulting a local expert or hiring a licensed property manager can save you a lot of headache. On the business side, remember that income from rentals is taxable. Make sure to report your earnings properly to avoid surprises down the road. Following these rules and setting up systems to manage your property can help you build a smooth, successful operation. At my company, SmartStart Japan, we could help you with your year end tax filings or incorporate your business. We featured Tracy Northcott, a highly successful entrepreneur in the short term rental space, on the Japan Scalers podcast. She scaled her short term rental service to more than 25 properties, and her insights are really invaluable for anyone entering this market. And here are a few of the many insights she shared in our interview. So, her first tip was focus on your target audience and their needs. Sounds similar to the tour. But success in the short term rentals market is not just about offering a place to stay, it's really about creating an experience. So she was able to carve out a niche by catering to families and digital nomads who value an authentic local living. By clearly defining your ideal guests and tailoring your services to their preferences, you stand out in a crowded market and build a loyal customer base. Tip 2 was to professionalize with systems and automation. So scaling a rental business requires efficiency. And so she was able to introduce dynamic pricing, automated guest communication systems, and digital guidebooks to streamline operations while maintaining high standards of hospitality. And so these systems not only help you save time, but allow you to deliver a seamless professional experience to guests. And the third tip that I'll share today is learning how to adapt to changing regulations and market trends. So, navigating Japan's evolving rental laws, such as the Minpaku Law of 2018, was a real big challenge. But by focusing on compliance and ensuring that the properties met safety and legal requirements, she was able to stay in business while many of her competitors did not, and also opening her business opportunities to expand to digital nomads and medium term rentals. So, staying flexible and informed was a key part of her success. And some really awesome news is that she offers consulting and courses on how to succeed in Japan's short term rental market. And we'll include a link to Tracy Northcott Consulting in the show note. If you do have a rentals business and are looking for a website, scaling your company, and our marketing agency can definitely help you out with the website and even possibly with customer acquisition by doing paid ads or SEO. And we can also help you with incorporation to my business, SmartStart Japan. Business idea number 4: starting a restaurant or a bar. So, the fourth popular business idea that I see often is starting a restaurant or a bar. Japan is famous for its vibrant food culture and its high standards of service. For entrepreneurs, this creates both challenges and opportunities. Japanese customers value cost performance, which means to get not only great food, but also exceptional value and an unforgettable experience. But don't let that intimidate you. Japanese service is polite, but often impersonal. So, by building connections with your customers and fostering a welcoming atmosphere, you can create a loyal community of regulars, which are your bread and butter in Japan. Many of the tips that I'll be sharing with you from now came from our Scaling Japan podcast interview with William Ryan from Japan Hospitality Consultants. He runs an Irish pub in Tokyo, and he has consulted many restaurant and bar owners on how to succeed in the Japan market. And I've introduced him some of our incorporation clients and is highly recommended. So, based on our interview, here are some things you should know for starting a restaurant in Japan. So, as we mentioned, customer expectations are high, and Japanese customers expect high quality, clean food and also welcoming spaces. One example of this is William's own pub on Solas in Tokyo, which we'll link in the show notes. Also, for the chain side, Obonde Gohan or Negishi are good examples of Japanese chains that created a welcoming and inviting space. Also, spotless bathrooms are a must, and Japanese customers will often see your bathroom as a reflection of your kitchen's cleanliness. If the bathroom's dirty, people may assume that you put the same level of attention to your kitchen as well. The second important thing is cost management, especially for those creating their first restaurant or bar. And it's really understanding your costs, like your rent, your food, your utilities, your staffing costs. Also, a financial cushion is very good to have, and you should have at least 6 months of running costs in reserve to weather the ups and downs of getting your business started. One tip for succeeding is having a personal touch. One tip that William recommended was to remember what the customer's usual drink is, or food can go a long way. Next is licenses and legalities. So, starting a restaurant or bar in Japan is straightforward with the right preparation. So, here are some of the things that you'll need: business license, or Eigyo Kyoka, which costs about 12,000 to 16,000 yen, maybe a few thousand yen more. Food hygiene license, and fire safety training, which involves a 1 day course costing around 15,000 yen. The last tip for now would be finding the right location. So, location is everything, but you have to be careful and not be swoon away by or prime real estate that may cost more than your business can handle. So, he recommends looking for areas where people already have their wallets open. So, like shopping streets, entertainment hubs, or transit connections. For more in depth insights into opening a restaurant or a bar in Japan, we recommend listening to our podcast episode with William Ryan on the Scaling Japan podcast. Also, if you're planning on opening your own restaurant, we can help you with incorporation. We can help you with your Google Maps, as we ranked more than 50 businesses in the top 3. And you can also reach out to William Ryan, and we'll have that link in the description. So thanks for watching our video on small business ideas in Japan. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll bring more awesome content for you for making your business a success in Japan.